What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's reaction video is going to be potentially a controversial one. It is common stereotypes about Americans. Now, this is going to annoy some people. I completely get that. But you got to understand, one, this is not me saying the stereotypes. And at the end of the day, it's a stereotype. Who actually cares? Because if you don't fit the category one, it shouldn't really offend you. And it's all jokes. Like, there's so many about the British. I can't think of any right now. I get sent from you guys the British memes about the teeth. Well, the teeth and stuff like that is one. Which I think I've got good gnashes anyway. Give you a little smile and you can rate them in the comments. But it's all fun and games at the end of the day. And we're going to be checking out the common stereotypes. I feel like there's definitely going to be potentially a couple what's going to come up. The overweight, it's got to come up, hasn't it? It comes up in quite a lot of our videos. Overweight has to come up. But then again, you look at the stats and the UK is obese as well as a nation. So it's not only the US. And again, it is just a stereotype. Like the Canadians being super nice and stuff like that. I imagine there is some absolutely... I'm not going to say the word, but you know what I'm going. Well, it begins with a C. In Canada, but the stereotypes are the nicest people in the world, pretty much. So yeah, don't take it to offence is all I'm saying. I'm going to enjoy this one, I think. Saying overweight's going to come up, and one I think potentially could come up, again, which we know not to be true, is about not well-travelled. We know they're not well-travelled across internationally, potentially, because a lot of you guys don't have passports, but the nature and beauty you have over there, which we've learned, is incredible. And again, for people who like maybe a standard Brit or a standard other person who's never looked into America, they'd have no clue. I had no clue how beautiful some places in the US were until I started doing these videos. So it's completely understandable when you hear someone go, they don't have passports. It's like, well, obviously they're not well travelled. They haven't seen much different cultures and stuff like that. And you don't realise how big the US actually is and how many different cultures it actually has. I hope that made sense, guys. A very long intro, but I think I've got my point across, and I think I've explained quite a few things quite well. Let me know in the comments, guys. Now, let's see what the common stereotypes for Americans actually are.
We all love to stereotype, to believe in or to cast forth oversimplified ideas about certain groups, and in today's case, a nationality. Is it really true that all Italians are passionate lovers and equally passionate about food? Do the Brits have stiff upper lips and bad teeth?
I've never heard the stiff upper lip one. Have I got a stiff upper lip? I don't really know what it means by that. Does it mean like injected with stuff? Like fake? Let me know in the comments. I may be completely wrong. I don't know about that. But again, like we said, rate my gnashes in the comments. As a Brit, I think I'm doing quite well. I'm not perfect, but I'm doing quite well as a Brit.
Canadians, simple, outdoorsy types with an enthusiasm for chopping wood. Well,
I'm being happy.
Today we are going to look at just one country. In this episode of the infographic show, common stereotypes about Americans.
Okay.
Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so that you can be part of our notification squad. The big...
Same for this channel. Let's try and hit... I haven't set a like goal in a while. This is going to be a big one. Let's try and hit 400 likes. I've never said 400 likes. I know you legends can do it. We're doing double upload tomorrow as well. Guaranteed. So hit that like button. I'd appreciate it.
Brash American. How true is that? There is a stereotype that Americans are a big or fat nation.
There we go,
the stereotype is partly true if you believe the World Health Organization. According to 2015 data, the USA was the most obese Western nation in the world, but it only came 16th on the list, which included all the world's nations. The island of Nauru in the region of Micronesia came first on the list. Reports suggest Americans actually exercise a lot, but with a diet of fast food, high sugar intake, and super-sized portions, US citizens will have a hard time running off the extra pounds. We might take bold and brash to sometimes mean arrogant and dismissive of other cultures. Who hasn't seen those viral video clips wherein Americans are subjected to global knowledge questions and come out looking like they know little about the world? According to the writer and habitually quoted academic Noam Chomsky, the average American knows a lot more about sports than global politics. The gas station attendant who wants to...
At the end of the day, that's the same with me. Like, ask me any sport question about most sports and I'm straight on it. And I can hold a conversation with pretty much anyone about 99% of sports. There's going to be some unique ones. But even if there's a unique one, there's a high chance I've heard about it. And I get the general idea, if that makes sense. So, politics come up. I'll give it a go, but I'd rather talk about football or talk about League 2 or something, which we haven't seen in years. I can easily chat away the teams in there for the soccer or something like that easily. So I'm the exact same.
To use his mind isn't going to waste his time on international affairs because that's useless. He can't do anything about it, said Chomsky, stating that people use their expertise where they think it counts. He also said to be critical and disobedient went against the grain, and so most Americans just join in the debate at the trivial level and know very little about deconstructing global politics. Someone writing on Quora said the education system, the TV media, are US-centric. She also pointed out that America is large enough to travel around extensively, and foreign travel can be prohibitively expensive. The State Department said in 2016 that 64% of Americans don't even own a passport. But then
Oh, that's mental. I didn't realize it was 64%. But again, on the whole culture about the rest of the world, it's the same in England pretty much. You hear about like your Donald Trump news and stuff like that, and if there's any shootings, which is absolutely horrible, or any disasters, you hear about that. But the general stuff, it's just for UK news. I like we did a citizen test. I did pretty well in it because I've been doing these videos. But there's so many times if you guys have just taken for granted, like I'll take stuff for granted, which I expect you to know and you don't, and I'll be amazed and never seen it before because you live in your own little bubble. It's the exact same as us, except from the passport thing. We do like to travel because at the end of the day, the UK is a lot smaller, nowhere near as much culture in terms of the sites and stuff like that. So I completely get that.
You could ask, with such a large and beautiful country, do they need one? Another stereotype related to lack of knowledge about other countries might be that Americans watch way too much television and that sometimes those shows are a tad mind-numbing. Well, Americans do top the list of being the most avid TV watchers in the world. According to a Recode article in 2016, the average American watches 4.3 hours of TV a day. The older generation more so than the younger generation, who prefer spending time using other devices. It depends on what you watch on TV, but one could ask if you could equate the global ignorance stereotype with being the country that is glued to what has sometimes been called the idiot box more than anyone else. We are starting to sound quite negative now.
Kinda.
So what about all those positive stereotypes? The well-known English writer Stephen Fry once said that after traveling around the USA for a while making a TV program, one thing he most admired was the friendliness and positive outlook of Americans. He extolled what he called American optimism, and that American people believed they could improve and do what they wanted to if they tried.
Yeah, I absolutely love that attitude. Fair play to you guys. I feel like I've got the same attitude. Not with everything in life. Sometimes it's just darn hard, isn't it? But fair play. I love that. That is the attitude I love to see.
All may boil down to what we might call the American dream and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
Are all Americans like this? A report by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime put Americans 8th on the list of most drug-addicted countries, noting that the prescription painkiller epidemic is presently very worrying.
That's a shame,
North America had the highest amount of drug-related deaths of all continents in 2015, with the report stating, in the United States, nearly 500,000 people are estimated to have died from drug overdoses since 2000.
Such a
Just
shame,
recently,
man.
the New York Times reported that drug overdoses in the US were rising faster than ever. Perhaps American optimism is partially true, but American OxyContin addiction undermines the positive outlook stereotype. What
I get
about
that,
guns?
but
Americans
end of the day, every country's got their own problems. I know that's a thing. It happens everywhere. Maybe you guys have just got the biggest problem potentially because you got a lot of people. I know obviously China's a bit different. They've got a lot of people as well. You got Russia with a lot of people. But you like, I'm comparing it to the UK. You got a lot more people, and there's definitely groups like that in the UK. 100%. It's a shame. It really is a shame. And I'm not. It's at the end of the day, it's people's life choices. I'm not going to attack anyone for it. I completely get how you can go down that route. I completely get how you can't get off it. It is one of them, but it is a shame that all them lives have been lost to it. It's a big shame.
love their guns, right? According to the Telegraph in 2016, Americans do indeed have more guns per person than any other country in the world.
Mental,
the data
man.
tells us there are 112.6 per 100 citizens,
Wow.
more than a gun for every person. It's true that many Americans support the right to bear arms, but it's also true that many other Americans support tighter gun control or the banning of guns altogether. A recent Pew Research poll found that 52% of Americans support stricter gun control,
Wow.
while only 18% wanted less strict control. A Gallup poll in 2016 said that 76% of Americans said handguns should not be banned for all people, not including authorities, but 23% said they should. Another stereotype is that Americans are loud and sometimes rude. An op-ed in the Huffington
Yeah, I wasn't sure if a rude one was going to come in because I have heard that before. Again, I did not expect them numbers right. 52% didn't, well, stricter. Not that they don't want it, because a lot of people have it for safety measures and stuff like that, and they don't mind them being stricter because hopefully they'll never have to use them in their lives. Some have it for hunting, that's fair enough. It's the ones who want to, ruin it for people with it and get dangerous and lives get put at risk. That is the issue. But yeah, I didn't expect the numbers to be high, which is awesome to see, by the way. It is awesome to see. Loudness and rude. We heard the loud one the other day. The rude one, again, it's just whoever you meet. Everyone's different at the end of the day. And it's what you interpret as rude. There's difference in rude. Some people get offended if you're talking over them loud accidentally, or if you're having a bit of banter with them. Some people don't see it as that. So again, it's personal opinion, I think.
Post seems to agree with this assertion. Awareness of how personal actions impact others seems to be a weak point for Americans in general, said the writer. This translates to the perceived ignorant persona Americans abroad present, she added. There are many reasons put forward as to why this is, especially when abroad, but the main one is that instilled in Americans is not only a positive outlook, but also self-importance. People think they should be heard.
Makes sense.
And this also goes back to embracing embracing freedom of speech and saying what the hell you want to say, goddammit. This has sometimes been taken as rude in a situation where an American will complain about the service or food in a restaurant, but perhaps these people only think they are enjoying their right to do that. In Japan, there's a saying, hit the nail that sticks out, while in America, it might be more applicable to say, be sure to make good use of your protuberance. This also might align with the stereotype of American patriotism. When British students asked American students questions about stereotypes, one Brit kid asked why Americans were so patriotic. Some American students didn't deny it and gave good answers. One student said, we are a major melting pot country. Rather than history or a common language that unites us, we are united by freedom, which is what it means to be American.
Awesome,
it is, however, possibly a weak stereotype, as another student said he wasn't patriotic at all, and another called patriotism mere mob mentality. A Gallup poll said that in 2016, only 53% of Americans said they felt extremely proud to be American. This compares to 70% who said yes to that question in 2003. It said the younger generation was the cause of this huge change, which mirrors the mob mentality students' belief.
Okay, I get that. And the whole social media nowadays, you see a lot of things, a lot of wrongdoing and stuff like that. So I can kind of get the dip. It's quite a big dip. I didn't expect it to be that much, but it makes sense, you know. People have a lot of their own mind, social media influencing, potentially influence you against that and stuff like that. It makes sense. But it is awesome. That's still 53% of Americans is still a lot of people very patriotic. And I love to see it, you know. Again, I don't have a personal preference. I'm not going to get into that. But it's awesome to see people being passionate about something, as long as it doesn't get silly, dangerous or anything like that. It's awesome to see. Everyone's happy. I like it.
Sometimes you'll notice in Europe there's a certain snootiness that Americans are not cultured. This to some extent could be true, as the United States is relatively new, and so we can't really credit the country for a renaissance of culture. But hold on. What about the great transcendentalist movement of the 19th century with its poets and philosophers that is making a comeback today against hyper-consumerist values? This later led to the free-spirited Beat generation and the books of Jack Kerouac. In music, America gave us the blues, originating from African Americans in the Mississippi Delta. It gave us New Orleans jazz. It gave us, to a large extent, the hippie 60s and the American Kool-Aid acid test. In New York in the 70s, we got disco, and following that came the hip-hop movement. Throughout those years, writers vied to write the great American novels. Some of them, such as Joseph Heller, Philip Roth, and Toni Morrison, wrote literary masterpieces that will go down as books that changed the world. Can we really say that Americans are uncultured?
No, we can't.
What do you think of these American stereotypes?
Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And it was about to say, can you name any we've missed off this list?
You name a few that we left out?
Oh, I was close. That was almost a good guess. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you think any of them left out. And, you know, get a bit of revenge on me. Let me know your top 3 British stereotypes. Again, I can take it. It's all fun and games at the end of the day. Don't forget to rate my Nashers. And, yeah, again, a lot of these are just stereotypes at the end of the day. Very common. And yeah, I think I said my piece on all of them. I've really enjoyed this video, guys. Hit that like button. I'm glad I'm feeling better. I'm glad I'm going to have 2 videos out tomorrow. I hope you guys are glad as well. Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button. Let's try and hit 400 likes. We may not do it. Who cares? We're happy. We're living the dream, guys. Always happy. So let's get straight. Yeah, hit that like button. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.